Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Shanika Marie and we are back with another video. So as y'all can see, my background has changed a little bit. To be honest, I didn't really feel like sitting at my desk for this video. I wanted to be relaxed, like I'm talking to one of my good girlfriends, and we gonna sit here and we gonna chat, okay? So that's why my background is different. I hope y'all like it. I even got my feet in the chair so that y'all can see I'm comfortable, and I want y'all to get comfortable too, okay? So y'all, today we are talking about God told me to quit my job. And so I've been seeing this topic. It's been a lot of talk and I've seen a lot of videos on this. I've seen some reels and stuff on Instagram about this topic. And so this is actually my testimony. And so I wanted to tell you guys about what God has done for me and is still doing since taking that leap of faith. So I hope y'all enjoy this video. So where should I start? Okay, so I actually quit my job in 2018. I think I was like 25 or 26. I'm 27 now. So I was like, y'all, my brain just shut off a minute ago. Anyway, I was like 24 or 25, one of those. So I was very young, and I can't say I was a believer back then, but I think over the years my faith has definitely grew a lot stronger. And I think because of that moment, God telling me to quit my job, like my faith has just grown so much from that. So I'm going to start there. So it all started when I was working the job. I had been there for about like 3 years, coming up on the 4th year. But I just really felt the grace to do that job had left. And I heard somebody say this on the podcast, and at first I was like, what do they mean? But as far as like, I just felt like my time was up there. I felt like I had done what God wanted me to do. I had met the people God wanted me to meet. And basically, I really felt like my assignment was up there. And it was really hard for me because I come from a family who, who has worked jobs for years and years. They're going to retire there. They don't have any plans on moving. So that was all that I seen growing up. So to quit a job after 3 or 4 years, that was like foreign to me. Like, what you doing? What's wrong with you? Like, no, it's a good job. Like, the pay is good. You like what you're doing, like all of the things. But like I said, I just felt like the grace had left for me to be there. And so I was very irritable. I was having like anxiety attacks. Back then, I didn't know there were anxiety attacks until I did research and started going to therapy. But I realized I was actually having anxiety attacks and did not know it. And so I was having anxiety attacks, and y'all, it's so crazy. Like, within like a 6-month period, I had got the flu. I had got sinus pressure headaches. I was getting fevers out of nowhere. Like, every week it was something for me. I had to call out of work because I just felt terrible. And also, I told y'all in the previous video that I struggle with I've been diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. And so my stomach was just bad, y'all. It was horrible. And so, if it wasn't something with ulcerative colitis, I was having a fever, or I had the flu, or just something was going on, and I had to call, like every week I had to call out for something. And so I was just like, okay, like what is going on? Is my body breaking down? Like, what is going on with me? And so I'm going to say that 6 months period started from like, I'm going to say November to like the February, March of the following year. So I think it was 2000. So it started in 2017, like the end of 2017, in the beginning of 2018. And like I said, I was struggling to go to work, y'all. I was crying on my way there because I did not want to go. And on my way back home, I was just like, okay, well, I was just so exhausted from the day, from just trying to mentally pull through. I would get home and just get into bed, and I would eat and go to bed and literally do the same thing over and over again. And it was just, I felt like it was causing me to go insane, y'all, if I'm completely honest. And so, yeah, that's how it kind of like started for me. And then I remember one day I just had a really bad day, and I remember like texting my friends in the group, texting just like, y'all, I can't do this no more. I'm just struggling. Like, I just really want to quit, but I don't know. I don't have a backup plan. And so I don't know what to do. Should I stay? You know, and one of my good friends, one of my best friends, actually, my soul sister, Tiff, I remember she texting the group, and I think she either texted me or texted me. I don't know. She texted me. She was like, you just need to quit. And I was like, girl, no, I can't just quit. I gotta have like something lined up, because at that time I was on my own. I was living on my own. I had been on my own for about maybe like 2 or 3 years, and so I had all the bills fell down on me. And so I felt like it would be very irresponsible of me to just quit without a backup plan. And so I thought about like, okay, if I quit, I'm gonna have to go back home, or, you know, go back to go back to living with a family member, you know, whether it's my mom, whether it's my aunt, for where I used to live at. Like, all of those things were in my head. And so to me, in my mind, that was like failure to me, to have to go back home or have to go back to where I was staying before. And so which is a lie from the enemy, because sometimes the enemy will make you, just because you have to go back or do something, not like, say for instance, hold on, how do I want to say this? Help me, Holy Spirit. So the enemy will make you feel like, okay, you having to go back home, or you having to go back to a job that pays less. He will make that seem like you're a failure. But actually, God could be using that to set you up for success. Did you hear what and I didn't even plan to say that, so that I really feel like that was for someone. You may have to quit a job or go back home or whatever, and the enemy is placing in your mind like, hey girl, like, you're a failure if you do that. That is a lie. That is a lie from the enemy. Let me just say that right now. Okay, so let me get back. I just really felt led to say that, so let me get back. So where was I? So my friend Tiff, that's where I was at. My friend Tiff told me to quit, and I was like, no, I can't do that. And so at the time, I was dating this guy or whatever, and I remember I was telling him that I had a really rough day too, and he was just telling me, he was like, you just need to quit and find you something else. And again, I'm like, y'all saying that, but how am I gonna pay these bills? How am I gonna do just basically be able to meet my basic needs without a job? And so, you know, they just kept saying it. And I remember after I hung up with him, because I told him he was crazy, like, I can't just quit. Like, I remember I hung up with him, and I felt this voice inside of me saying, put your 2 weeks in. And so I was like, is that me or is that God? Like, what was that? And so I remember, you know, just thinking that. I never told my family. I never told anyone that I kind of felt that feeling, because I was nervous. I did not know what my next step was going to be. Like, how am I going to quit my job? And y'all, just to be transparent, at that time, I had no savings account. I didn't have a backup plan. And so that felt like I said, it felt irresponsible of me to do that. And so I kind of brushed it off a little bit, but at the same time, I was in a space in my faith journey to know like, hey, I might need to pay attention to that. So what I did was ended up fasting. I think it was either that next week or the next couple of days. I fasted. I remember fasting. I fasted sodas, because at that time I was like really addicted to soda. So I fasted sodas, and I did social media, and because I really felt like, you know, that was where all my time was going anyway. So I wanted to fast the things that were really not healthy for me, and also pulling me away from God. So that's how I came up with those two things. And I fasted, and I remember going to our church had a Friday prayer night, and we had it for Good Friday, I think. So it was it's about to come up the time on Easter, but I remember it was on Good Friday. So we had a prayer night, and after I had been fasting that week, and like I said, I didn't tell anybody again what my plan was to quit and stuff. And so I went to church that night, and I just knew that God was going to give me my answer at that prayer night service. And so service was great. I remember I went up for prayer, and I knew that when I in my mind, I knew that when I went up for prayer that she was going to give me my answer, that she was going to tell me something. But I remember I went up and told her, like, I really felt like God was leading me to make this really big step in my journey, but I didn't know what to do. And so I remember her praying over me. And I was about to leave that service. I was just disappointed because I felt like God didn't speak to me and tell me what I needed to do. But I was about to walk out of the service. And one of my really good friends, Tori, and I think I told her this before, and I don't even know if she understands what she did for me. Yeah, I'm getting a little emotional. She don't understand what she did for me in that service. And she's younger than me. I used to be like her youth leader, but we became close after a while. And so I'll never forget, she came up to me and gave me a hug. And she was like, hey, I got something to tell you. And I'm like, okay, girl, what's up? And so she told me she saw me go up for prayer. And she has a powerful prophetic gift. And I think she subscribed to this channel. So, girl, if you're watching, I'm talking about you, Tori. And so she had said that I saw you go up for prayer. And it still just brings me to tears every time I think about it, y'all. But she told me that she saw, when I went up for prayer, she saw a rope over my head. And I was in a tug of war about something with God, and I needed to do what he told me to do. And y'all, when I tell you, I kept it together while I was in church. But when I got in that car, I bawled. I was like, okay, God. I was like, dang, that was real. And okay, I guess this is where you are leading me to. And so after I got home that night, still don't even know how this sticky note got on the floor, because I was always one. I know that God has blessed me with the encouraging gift. And so when I get little nuggets of encouragement for myself, I like to write them on sticky notes and post them around the house and stuff. And so this sticky note, I got home from that service and came home, and the sticky note was on the floor. So I'm like, okay, picking it up, about to just put it away. I'm like, I don't even know how this got on the floor. And I don't remember exactly what it said, but it said something like this. It said, if you will do exactly what I say and believe that what I say is exactly what I mean, it will save you a lot of sweat on the way. And I was like, dang, all right, that's two. That's two signs, you know? And then I can't remember, y'all, like, it feels so long ago, but it was still, you know, it hasn't been that long. But it was another sign that I got too. I think I remember listening to like a sermon or something, and they whatever she said, it kind of confirmed something in my spirit, and I knew that it was what I was supposed to do. And so I remember going on Google, typing up my letter, and I was just so nervous to actually give this to my, I was in the mental health field, so to give it to my clinical supervisor. And so I remember my boss at the time, I had heard stories about when people would try to leave that, you know, he would try to get them to stay. And so I was fearing that, because I knew I wasn't strong enough in my faith to, well, not even in my faith, but just believing in myself, that if someone would have said, like, you know, I don't think this is a good idea, or you don't need to be doing that, maybe you should wait, I probably would have did it. I probably would have stayed a little bit longer. But I remember giving my note to my clinical supervisor. I was talking to him at the time, and he was like, okay. He was like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm not really sure. And at that time, y'all, I was like really but I was really sick due to ulcerative colitis. I was in a really, the baddest flare up of that I've had since I've actually had ulcerative colitis. I was really sick, so I told him that I was going to focus on my health. And at that time, my grandma was retiring, and so she was having a procedure done. Something was going on with her, so I told him, like, I wanted to focus on my health, but I also my grandma was having knee replacement, I think. Yeah. So I told him that I wanted to go and take care of her and make sure she was good, during this downtime for me, and just kind of figure out things for myself. And he was like, okay. He was like, I support you. Let us know, if you need anything, this and that. And I was like, huh? And then, but then, I had to send my letter to like the boss of the company. And so he was the one that I was telling y'all about, where he would try to make people, not make people stay, but convince people to stay and try to figure out what was going on. But even I remember when he called me, y'all, my heart started beating so fast, because I was like, dang, he about to convince me and I'm probably going to just stay a few more years or whatever. But no, he was like, okay. And at that time, and this is probably going to have to be a part 2 to this video, because at that time I had a side hustle or whatever. I was organizing closets and organizing homes. At that time, I was doing, my business was called Faithfully Distressed, and I would go and help, different women clean out their closets or clean out their homes where they feel like, clutter was just taking over. And so at that time I was doing that, and I was telling him, that I am doing this like kind of on the side. And I was like, well, maybe I can do this full time until I figure out what I want to do. And he was just telling me, he told me to go for it, but he did tell me, like running a business is hard, but he was just saying if I ever needed anything to call him. And I was just so appreciative of that. And I know that was a God thing too, because if he probably would have tried to convince me to stay, like I said, I knew that I wasn't like strong enough to be like, okay, I'm gonna still do it. I probably would have just been like, all right, I'll stay. I'm good. I'll just wait. But, God even set that up too, where, he was just like, okay, like he affirmed me and told me like, hey, you're going to be good. And I needed to hear that, to be honest. I needed to hear that. And so when I quit, even when I put the 2 weeks notice in, like I just felt like a relief. I knew that it was something that I was supposed to do. And so to be honest, y'all, what I thought that when I quit, God was going to grow my business, my Faithfully Distressed business. Like I was going to just do that full time, organize home full time. And I also, I don't know if I talked about this on this channel before, but my dream, since I was a little girl, I always wanted to be a model. I remember just looking could see myself like, this was back when I was getting perms, seeing myself on like the perm boxes, or either my mom would get, when we get our hair braided, the back of the hair, packages, just seeing a Black woman just looking beautiful as always, just being a model. I used to watch America's Next Top Model. I used to just imagine myself in commercials. That's always what I wanted to do. But to be honest, I didn't know how to pursue that dream. So I started, just basically working to try to figure out, what I wanted to do with my life. Because to be honest, I felt like that wasn't possible for me back then. And so I was like, okay, God about to take me out of this job so I can do this business full time. I'm going to grow my business, either I'm going to model full time. And y'all, that wasn't it. That was not what he was doing. That was not what he was doing. But to be honest, once I quit, God, I remember the first miracle that I call it miracles, but the first miracle that I experienced, I will never forget, like one of my regular customers with my Faithfully Distressed organizing business. I'll never forget, I had told her that I was quitting or whatever. She was excited for me because I told her that I think I'm gonna be doing this full time. And so I had, finished a project that I was doing with her. And Miss Janice, if you're watching this, I love you so much. And you don't even know what you did for my faith that day. But yeah, so that day I had finished doing some work for her, and I remember she asked me, she was like, well, how are you on your bills this month? And so to be honest, I was a little ashamed because I was short on, like, I remember I had got down to my last paycheck, the last paycheck from the job. And so I was a little short on my rent. And so I was a little nervous to kind of tell her that I wanted to say so bad, oh, I'm good, but I just really felt like God was telling me, be honest with her. So I told her, and I was like, I'm about $400 short on my rent this month, to be honest. And she told me, she was like, okay, meet me at the bank tomorrow and we'll get the money out for you. Y'all, I kept it together while I was in there, but I bawled when I got into the car. I could not believe that she was going to do this. So she paid me, but she also gave me extra to take care of my rent. And so that was one of the miracles. Like I said, I think this is going to have to be a 2-part thing, because it was just so many things that God had done for me. Family. Thank God for my family. I know my aunt watches this. I love you so much. I know my grandma. Everybody subscribed and watches. And my sister, my mom, she may see this. But no. And my dad. My entire family, y'all. They were so supportive of me. They knew that I was sick. So when I tell you they came through with rent, light bill, food, you name it, I had it. I didn't go without anything in that. I didn't go without anything. And so, also, one of my friend Tip had actually told me about applying for food stamps. And at the time, I didn't really know about food stamps, so I didn't even know how to apply. But I got on Google and I figured it out. And so at the time when I was telling you that I was sick, I needed to change my eating. So I was had to purchase like organic meats. I had to purchase organic fruits just to try to get my body back into a place that I was, feeling at least a little bit better. And so, y'all, it's kind of expensive eating organic and stuff. We just gonna say that. But God allowed me to get food stamps in that time too. And to be honest, y'all, and I want to kind of put a pin in it in my story right here and kind of give you the lessons that I feel like God was teaching me in that season. I feel like God had to humble me in that season. It's like applying for food stamps and having to ask for help from family and to tell people what I really need, because I had a very independent spirit. And when I say independent, I started working at a very young age. I was buying my own shoes and paying my own phone bill and car insurance and stuff at a very young age, because I was working, and being able to have your own money, you can basically, felt like you can do what you want. And so it was like this, like, I'm independent. I got this, I'm good. I moved out at a very young age, got my own place at a very young age, so I kind of prided myself on that. But God, I really felt like he showed me that being independent ain't always where it's at. And the Bible talks about, just us surrendering and being fully dependent upon him. So he had to strip me of all that stuff in this. He stripped me from my income source that he was using to provide for me. I had to open my mouth and ask for help, because I wasn't really good at that. But now I've gotten a lot better with it. But back then it hurt so bad for me to open my mouth to say, hey, I'm struggling here. I need this. But God had to teach me to open my mouth and to ask for help. And so, yeah, now that I look back, I think that's exactly what he was teaching me in that season. Like, I know you kind of pride yourself on being independent, but that's not what my word says. My word says that, you should be fully dependent upon me. And so that's exactly what I had to do in that season. And even in this season of my life where I am now, I'm still have to be dependent upon him, because y'all, we in a pandemic. This pandemic has definitely taught me, like, anything that you have can be stripped away from you. People are losing their lives. They're losing their jobs. They are losing a lot of things, things that they have worked for, but that's why we need God. That's exactly why we need God, because I couldn't imagine being in that season and not having God to depend on. Like, in those seasons, y'all, I remember I never really got bored, because I remember I was just reading my word and just trying to deepen my faith in that season. Like, I just needed that reassurance that God had me. And when I tell you, he showed me over and over and over again that he definitely had me in that season. And In the next video, I plan to tell you guys some more of the miracles that I actually experienced. But I just wanted to come on to tell kind of like my side, not my side, but I guess my testimony of when God told me to quit my job. And I just pray that this video encourages someone in this season, in their season of maybe God told you to quit your job, or, you know, maybe you're just in a season where you don't understand what God is doing, but trust me, he has you. I want you to know that God loves you and that he will not leave you out here just stranded. He won't do that. So if you just trust him and lean into him more than you ever have in this season, I just know that he's going to show you exactly what you need to be doing, what your next step is, because even, and I'll talk about this in a little bit. Well, I'll talk about this in the next video a little bit. Just talking about, you know, how I knew when to take my next step and the different things that God was doing in that season. So yes, thank y'all so much for watching this video. If you liked it, of course, give it a thumbs up. Share it with a friend. Share it on your social media, all the places that you would share it. Thank y'all so much for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you enjoy this content. And yes, I will see you guys in part 2.